when you realize that your body really likes these compounds and that these compounds will shoot throughout your entire system. It's in your blood, it's in your DNA, it's in your bones, it's in your eyeballs, it's in every hair follicle, it's everywhere inside of you, it's in your skin, it's everywhere, these receptors. And that's why using a little cannabis feels like a shotgun blast of relief wherever you need it, because these receptors are everywhere throughout your body.
Welcome to Season 6 of the Cannabis Truth Podcast, where we speak the language of cannabis freely and uncensored, while educating our audience on safe use of this live plant therapy. You should know what's in your cannabis, what's good and what's not, because cannabis does not come with an FDA stamp of approval, yet. The information you will find here comes straight from scientists and clinicians, doing the work and reporting their findings in reputable outlets. Hopefully, we can inspire you to research the facts as we know them today. Cannabis is an amazing alternative in health remedies, with the potential to alleviate typical disease problems and troubling side effects, even those caused by synthetic prescriptions. Here now is the host of the Cannabis Truth Podcast. She is a 21st century cannabis shaman, not a doctor, not a scientist. Raised by nuns and wolves in the verdant cattle pastures of the Oklahoma oil fields, here to amplify the truth of this great big story of cannabis in historical, political, scientific, and spiritual terms, so you can make educated decisions about the medicine you choose to ingest. Please welcome Honey Smith-Walls.
Hello, dear friends. I'm so happy to be back here with you this week, and I'd just love to talk to you about being a patient at 71 years of age on this beautiful plant we call cannabis, and a bunch of other names too, I might add. I wouldn't be here today if it were not for this plant and how it has affected my life. I found myself miserable in my middle age with just common and typical womanly symptoms of misery. My gut was in a mess. My head was in a mess. I was having aches and pains that were weird and taking more and more prescriptions for them. Doctor after doctor, I really went through a huge list of doctors trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And I was out on a boat with my husband, out in the middle of the Caribbean. And so finding a doctor to figure out what was going on with me was difficult. And different islands are different countries, and they have different medications, and they have different ideas. And there was just never much relief happening. So I feel a sneeze coming on. Not sure what brought that on, but, live here in this great big old farmhouse with 5 dogs and 2 great big fat 15-year-old hairy cats, and there's going to be a sneeze occasionally. Anyway, where were we? We were talking about trying to find help for those typical womanly issues that start ravaging your body if you haven't been paying very much attention to your body over the years, which I hadn't. I totally took for granted my entire bodily system, that I could walk, that I could sneeze, that I could cry, that I could open my eyes and see, that I could hear, that I could speak, all of it. I totally took all of that for granted. And then when I was a woman of middle age, all kinds of symptoms started popping in. And because of my conditioning, I'd just run to the doctor and let him tell me what was wrong with me and give me a prescription for it. It felt like even if I stubbed my toe, I'd have to go to the doctor and let him tell me I stubbed my toe and give me a prescription for it. And then that's not, that's only half the dance. Then you go to the pharmacist, and then you get your prescription, and then you take it home, and then you start taking it for 10 days. And then if it doesn't work, you go back and get more or whatever. I didn't realize there's a whole other world of medicinal help in plant therapy. Plant therapy. So once I realized that the joint I was sneaking out back in the dark under the tree was doing more for me than just making me feel better. That's all I knew. It just made me feel better. Just made me feel better. I was so unaware of my own body because of my own life and things that had happened to me. I was so unaware of what made what feel what. I couldn't put it together. I couldn't put it all together until years and years and years later. So when I finally did, and I realized that that joint that I was sneaking wasn't legal at that time, was actually making me feel better after I'd been in such misery for so long and trying to use my prescriptions to help me feel better, but they weren't. They were compounding on top of each other, one pill after another, not playing nicely in my gut. And oh yes, my gut was talking about it and making me think about how uneasy it was feeling before any thought in my mind. And it disturbed my sleep. So now I'm not getting the rest that I need, nor is my body capable of mending itself in that sleep period, which is when our bodies want to repair. That's when our bodies want to heal, is when, we're sleeping. And because all our other systems are at rest. And so once I realized that the plant I was using to just feel better had real serious effects on making me feel better, I wanted to know why. I really, really needed to understand why Big Pharma hadn't helped me, but plant therapy was. I just thought it was incredible. And so I found some information about it, and I found this little school that showed me how to grow it, and then I found doctors who were giving courses about it, and then I found schools in it, and then on and on and on. So for the next decade, I began really intensively learning about this plant. And oh my glory, what I have found, I think every sister on the planet needs to know. I'm just stopping here because I feel like I have to be bilingual here. I'm not leaving out the guys, but I have begun just teaching women in feminine groups, on stages, on feminine forums and stuff like that. So when you hear me speak only to the girls, it's because that's what I've begun doing. The guys are going to find all this out too. We don't keep those kind of secrets from them. We want to help our guys find the same relief that we're finding. It's just that I can be my own vulnerable self in a group of women, unlike being in a mixed group. So, since this is my show, I am who I am. I am my own vulnerable self here. And I want you to know me because I want you to trust me. I want you to trust the information that I'm giving you so that you too can find relief in your own health care. Relief that you can manage. What I didn't realize is that we have permission from ourselves to manage our own health care. See, I thought that was all in the realm of the doctors. I wasn't smart enough to handle my own self-care. Now, it was okay for me to take an aspirin when I wanted to, and then a Tylenol, and then an ibuprofen, but because I didn't take any courses on any of those, I misused those too. And all growing up, when I was in high school and after that in colleges around, the whole theme of the week was getting drunk on Friday and Saturday nights, getting drunk on the weekends. That was the goal, to get drunk. And so that meant just losing all my intelligence and going into complete animalistic behavior, just wild and unbridled. And that's not good. But that was the legal way to de-stress. Still is. More legal than cannabis in all 50 states. Pardon me while I have a slug. Look, the whole reason for this show is to help you understand about cannabis and how to use it safely and efficiently and target the issues that you're having. And it's easy to understand why this plant is so good in our bodies when you realize you have a receptor system inside of you that's been in humans always, that binds perfectly with these compounds in the cannabis plant. And there's hundreds of compounds in the cannabis plant. So when you're seeing that, when you realize that your body really likes these compounds and that these compounds will shoot throughout your entire system. It's in your blood, it's in your DNA, it's in your bones, it's in your eyeballs, it's in every hair follicle, it's everywhere inside of you, it's in your skin, it's everywhere, these receptors. And that's why using a little cannabis feels like a shotgun blast of relief wherever you need it, because these receptors are everywhere throughout your body. Science is in its heyday, discovering the ability of cannabis to assuage all kinds of issues for both humans and animals. Well, I've got my 15-year-old Paco on several formulas. He gets a whole plant, full spectrum solution, a tincture of CBD that has a bunch more CBD in it than usual and a bunch more CBG, that's cannabigerol, the precursor, the mother of all cannabis compounds, CBG. So it gets a lot more of that, and those just come in teensy weensy tiny little portions, little percentages. But you're getting more of the mother, or Paco is getting more of the mother compound CBG and more CBD, cannabidiol, in a full spectrum whole plant. That means all the compounds are in it from the entire plant. And he gets a couple of droppers of that, and I use Educator. I use my friend Megan Bang. She's the founder of Educator, also known as Trusted Cana Nurse in my little book. But and she's one of my trusted sources. I didn't have the book handy. This is just a picture, but this is what my book looks like. And so I'm using Megan Bang's Educator product called Relief, if you want to look up the real product. And it's, like I said, it's whole plant, full spectrum, got all the compounds in it, plus a lot more CBD, cannabidiol, and a lot more CBG, cannabigerol in it. Because Paco he's 15 years old and he's got some real liver issues going on. So I'm giving him this medication plus another 1-to-1 formula tincture of CBD and THC. So I give him just a regular dose of the other Educator product, and then just a teensy bit more of this, because the THC and CBD have more pain relief in it. So I want Paco I don't want his tummy to hurt. And before I began dosing him with cannabis, he would just sit and cry. And so he doesn't do that anymore. And in fact, he walks better now, and his tummy is not so distended. And so I know that this is working for him. He feels better. He feels like going bye-bye and going in the car, in the truck with us, and he wants to hang his head out the window. When he doesn't feel good, he doesn't feel like going. He just won't get up. But since he's been on cannabis, after we found out, this was the problem, he feels a lot better, more like himself. So once you understand the alchemy and the compounds in cannabis, you can target your issues. And it's just made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, honey, no.
This is a shout out to all my entrepreneurial sisters. I'm wondering, are you feeling stuck like I did when I first started my business? I hadn't been through business college, and there were so many things I didn't know and understand, especially about marketing, especially about the back-end bone structure of your business, and all the little things that you could do to help yourselves in the way of tools that you make handy for yourself during your business structure and your ongoing business. So looking forward, if you need help in getting those little projects done, but you've been stumped because you just couldn't figure out one piece of that app or the next step or the next darn, and you just wanted somebody to just show me how, I'm your girl. That's why I created honeyshelp.com. Now you can get a la carte help for those little projects that have just been nagging you. Yes, it's true. I can help you with a lot of that stuff that builds the backbones of your business. And we can do it together in a stress-free situation where you will enjoy learning how to structure the backbones of your business. I hope that you will go visit honeyshelp.com for more information about what we could do together to get you past those hurdles and roadblocks that have just been stumping you for so long, when all it would take is just a few minutes of somebody showing you how. I'm your girl. This is Honey Smith Walls, and I hope that you will too. Go visit honeyshelp.com today. Hi, Honey Smith Walls here. I'm host of the Cannabis Truth Podcast, weekly for the past 6 years. But today I'm inviting you to a Facebook group called the Holistic Relief Summit, in hopes that you too will come for the peace and stay for the epiphanies. It's a beautiful space for women to find all kinds of relief from all kinds of suffering. Come join us for free.
Well, hello, I'm Dr. Philip Blair, and I want to introduce you to Honey Smith Walls. And she recently had an experience with beta-caryophyllene.
For years, I've been dealing with lots of arthritis pain and pain from neuropathy that has not been resolved through other prescriptive methods. As an advocate educator in the cannabis industry, I learn lots of interesting information about the compounds within the plants, and one of those turned out to be beta-caryophyllene.
What was your first dose like?
I was gobsmacked. Absolutely gobsmacked. It has given me my future back.
I want to get it out to everybody too. I want to get it out to the whole world, as a matter of fact. It has so many mitigating factors for all the stresses of life and pain and diseases. It is unbelievable, the spectrum of care that it can provide.
Now, I use cannabis in a different way. Everybody has to dose differently because everybody's systems, your bodies are different, what you've eaten, what you've had to drink in the daytime, the prescriptions you're already on. Cannabis has to deal with all of that too. So, and it does so and makes the stuff already in your tummy play nicely together. Because that receptor system is a master over all the other systems that govern your body. Your lymphatic system, your endocrine system, your skeletal system, your muscular system, your central nervous system, all of that. There's 12 of them now that we've recognized the endocannabinoid system and the ohm that it is. It's huge. And it has meaning and ramifications, this discovery, for every doctor on the planet, how they're going to, once they learn about it, it's still new science, although it was discovered over 30 years ago, in 1992, I guess it was, 1992, yeah. It has huge ramifications for medicine if Big Pharma will allow the truth of it to be known, because Big Pharma is going to have to deal with the knowledge of our endocannabinoid system and start coming up with better laboratory compounds that are more gentle on our system. Now that we understand more of what they're dealing with and how to deal with it. So, see, all this discovery in cannabis is going to be huge changes for us medicinally. If we can keep big corporate from wagging the dog, so to speak. Anyway, there are real reasons to bypass the recreational bunch and jump into medical cannabis. Even if your state does not provide a program for you, it is so much better for you to jump into the medical arena of cannabis. And then you can use it recreationally whenever you want to. But using it medicinally will get you somewhere. It will get you relief. It will give you understanding. You will soon be able to choose the right products for yourself for morning and for night, because you don't want to mix those two up. If you don't want to get high, you need to learn the alchemy. And the alchemy, I say this all the time, the alchemy is as easy as putting butter and syrup on pancakes. But if you want to find relief for yourself, then you just need to have a little education about it and utilize the alchemy, the formula for yourself, which will be unique to you. So once you jump into using cannabis medicinally, whether you get to through a program from your state or whether you have to do it in your own research like I did, then you will have a first aid tool for the rest of your life that will be so much more gentle on your system and will not threaten your life like laboratory-made prescriptions often do. They often come with life-threatening warnings that we ignore. So, like taking too much Tylenol can damage your liver. And then what are you going to do? So, but I know people who take Tylenol daily by the handfuls. And I just have to tell myself they're not going to be on this planet for very long, and they're going to be in a lot of agony soon because of what they're doing. Cannabis doesn't give you that kind of agony. It doesn't have those kind of side effects because it's meant to be in your body. Your body recognizes the compounds in cannabis. That's why it works so well for us. Yes, it does have a compound that gives us euphoria that can be way too much for some people. But other people really love that euphoria. I'm one of them. I love that euphoria. But I don't go there very often because I'm too dang busy. And the days are so short and I'm already 71. So I save that special euphoric time for going to concerts and sitting out by the fire at night and stuff like that, Or maybe for ceremonies, meditational ceremonies, perfect time for that. Euphoria, perfect time for that. But when I need help waking up to unfold my hands from sleeping in fists all night long, I need something that's not going to give me that euphoria, and I know what that is. I need something that's going to allow me to, I can't do it yet. I was going to say snap my fingers. There, I can do that. I can't do this one at all. It hurts too much right here to even just put pressure on this finger to act like I'm going to, and you see that? See, I got a lot of stuff going on here, and it just hurts. And often that prevents me from writing. Often I cannot write because when you do this, it pulls on the muscle here, and it's very painful. Often I cannot use scissors because, again, it's this muscle thing. So lifting tiny, just doing that. So I medicate for that sort of stuff. And these are typical things. If I had to use Tylenol or ibuprofen or aspirin all the time for this, this ain't going away. Unfortunately, cannabis can't take this away. But it can manage the pain for me without upsetting my entire system and making me feel crappy all day. So you can see I'm I'm a pretty busy girl, and I live in joy and gratitude. And that's because cannabis has allowed me to find relief for my typical aches and pains of womaning 101 on this planet. I am thriving, not just surviving. I am thriving in womaning 101 on this planet because cannabis helps me manage all the typical aches and pains that I suffer. And you can too. You can manage brain fog from the cocktail of prescriptions you're already on by using plant therapy. You can manage that weird hitch in your get along that your arthritis pills are giving you. You can your high blood pressure pills, or your whatever they are, your prescriptions for your moods, your mood stabilizers, all that stuff, and then it's in your gut, mixing with all the other prescriptions. Plus whatever you're eating, plus however your body already is. You may be already sensitive to stuff like that. It's really hard to find pharmaceuticals that play nicely in your gut, much less together with other pharmaceuticals. So there we are, stuck with all that stuff in our tummies and just trying to find the alchemy that'll do the trick for us. It's tough. It is really tough. But when you start looking into plant therapy, and you know what? It's not just this plant, but you can use other plants too. For instance, and I talk about this a lot in my book, there's several different plants, many of them in fact, that grow a compound called beta-caryophyllene. And beta-caryophyllene grows in cloves and hops and mangoes. It grows in grass. It grows, just in all kinds of other plants. Beta-caryophyllene, BCP for short. And it also grows in cannabis. And what that one compound can do for us without the cannabis, if you just suck that compound out of cloves, like Dr. Philip Blair does at the blairmedicalgroup.com. You suck that one compound out of, other plants other than this one, and start using that for your anxiety, or that for your energy, or that for sleeping better, or that for your pain, or that for inflammation, or that for gut issues. You're going to be amazed. So that's what I'm saying. I talk about more than just cannabis plant therapy helping you. I talk about other plants that can help you too, and mention them here many times over, and give you my trusted sources for getting to those products. You're going to find trusted Cana nurse who is now EntheaCare.com. You're going to find her in here. You're going to find Dr. Philip Blair and his Blair Medical Group in here. And you're going to find Healer, Dr. Sulak, Dr. Dustin Sulak, and his healer.com in here too. So I'd love for you to go to my affiliate links. Just add a little word blip there. And if you want to order any of the products from those 3 companies who are also listed in my book as a trusted source, then that helps sponsor the Cannabis Truth Podcast, which has been running proudly now for over 6 years. Usually I'm interviewing all sorts of other people, but today I just wanted to have a little chat with you about considering the medicinal side of using cannabis, because once you learn just a little bit, oops, I can do it with that one. Oh no, not that one yet. I need to go get some more medicines. Once you learn just a little bit of alchemy, it will be a tremendous change in your day. You won't have sour tummy, you won't have brain fog, you won't have high anxiety, you won't have, because you'll be managing your issues for yourself. You also won't have that doctor dance, you won't have that pharmaceutical dance, you won't have that extra cost, you won't be bothering your insurance, la 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 la. And if you read my book, Healing Beyond High, then you will understand what you need to purchase for yourself, what you're looking for, how to trust a product, how to trust a company whose product you're interested in, and how to spot those places that you want to avoid, like the dollar store, the gas station, and street weed. Don't go there. Go to my book instead. For the price of less than it costs to get dinner at McDonald's, you can get my book. And for the rest of your life, you'll be armed with a new toolbox, a new first aid kit that will serve you and your family so well. Thank you so much for listening to me about this subject. It's dear to my heart because as I'm getting older, I'm still thriving and driving and lifting other women up out of that place where I was for so long. And I want you to see me and know me and trust me so that you too can learn how to take care of yourself and feel better and thrive on this planet. So I'm sending lots of love to you. Don't forget, Healing Beyond High. Christmas is coming up before that. Get it before that. Get it before that Thanksgiving dinner so that you will have peace at that Thanksgiving dinner. All right, I'm sending love. Mwah. Talk to y'all later. Oh, find me on Facebook too. I'm so much fun on Facebook. Oh, and that reminds me, go look up honeyshelp.com. See you next week.
Honey knows, honey grows, truth in the soil and love.
You've been listening to another Cannabis Truth Podcast with 21st century cannabis shaman Honey Smith Walls. Using cannabis mindfully as medication is a different concept in Western healthcare philosophy, specifically over the past century. There's a lot to learn and reconsider. The scientific truth of cannabis is finally getting out and is wide open for all to see at respected medical sites like the National Library of Medicine at pubmed.gov and the Journal of American Medical Association at JAMAnetwork.com. We here at the Cannabis Truth Podcast are right there in the thick of it, alongside the titans of medicine, as a fly on the wall. We are not doctors, nor did we go to medical school, but we have taken dozens of private cannabis courses and still engage in continuing education offered by expert cannabis scientists. Over the past few years, we slowly began to see and understand the bigger picture. Now we hear from people all day long about cannabis. It is so important to use verifiably safe products. The process of getting a diagnosis from your family doctor and taking your records to a cannabis specialist can lead you to the correct cannabinoid therapy for your specific issues. Otherwise, you're simply your own guinea pig looking for answers without the foundational knowledge or ability to determine your best strategy. To find a qualified cannabis expert in your area, visit cannabisclinicians.org. This is a national society of cannabis experts. Look for the link in the show notes. Unless otherwise proven by a reputable third-party lab test, please regard all street weed as contaminated. It may do grave harm to a patient with a delicate immune system who already has inflammatory issues like arthritis, IBS, fibromyalgia, or worse. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you find value and understanding through the conversations you've heard on this podcast.
A quick shout out to Nathan Pierce and Daniel Rome of the 406 Budcast and their brilliant tech goddesses who created what you're about to hear next.
She walked in with wisdom and a fire in her eyes, talking plant truth where the silence lies. From the roots to the bloom, she saw the light. Now she's teaching folks how to heal it right. Not afraid to challenge the tale of lazy myths and a system that failed. She's got science in one hand, stories in the other. Lifts up the voices they tried to smother. Honey knows, honey grows, truth in the soil and love in the smoke. Speaking for the elders and the ones left behind. She's the shaman of the leaf with a warrior's mind. Yeah, honey knows how the healing flows. From Florida sun to digital waves, she's breaking down fear with every word she says. Cannabis truth, that's her battle cry. For the mamas and papas still scared to try. She ain't selling hype, she's serving facts. Taking big pharma to school with class. With a mic and a mission, she lights the way for the lost and the curious every day. Honey knows, honey grows, truth in the bud and peace in the dose. Teaching the plant like a sacred art. From the ECS to the beating heart. Yeah, honey knows how the healing flows. She's been burned by the system, lifted by the plant, giving voice to the ones who thought they can. A sister, a savior,